What's up everybody, Austin Farnham here, and today we are checking out the AE05, also known as the Roland Aerophone Go. It's a saxophone video, but we're going digital today. Let's jump in. Today's video is really about just first impressions of the saxophone, and for me, as a digital saxophone user, how does it compare to other digital saxophones? How does it play and feel compared to acoustic saxophones? And what is sort of the purpose of having a digital saxophone in the first place? These are all topics that I want to cover today. And of course, we're going to hear some sounds on the Aerophone Go. But right now, we're getting to the favorite part here, where I get to use sharp instruments. Extra cardboard. Nice foam. It's so tiny. We've got some stuff in here. Oh, it's taped to the cardboard. Wow. All right, that's a nice touch. So we have a manual. Nobody reads those. I don't know. That's in Mandarin or something. I have no idea what that says. So what we actually care about in the box here. All right, sweet. So we're already off to a fantastic start. Not everybody does this. Not everybody gives you a cable, okay? Batteries weren't included, but we did get cables, so that is awesome. And not only that, you got 3 of them, and they're angled. So like you have the 90-degree angle there so that it doesn't like awkwardly stick out and then droop down. That was a nice touch. And you have, it looks like micro USB, USB-C, and then like a normal USB plug. Super big nerd for saying this, but I love this. This is a great touch. Let's jump in here to the saxophone. First off, it is an actual baby. It is the size of a newborn. Love that. Look at that. Would you look at this? Yeah, so I've heard about these things. My older model doesn't have this, but it's like a spit cover thing from what I understand. It's a sweatband for your saxophone. On the back, so we have 2 keys there, like a low A and an octave key, metal thumb rest, you have tone dial, transposition dial, that's cool, and then your volume dial as well. This here, maybe like a power button or some sort of function. Let's see the battery situation. Batteries not included, and it looks like maybe 4 batteries, probably AA. I wish that I could move this thumb rest around. It feels a little rigid. It's kind of like a perfectly straight line, but with a neck strap, you could reduce that a little bit and that wouldn't be such a big deal. To the front, then your main, 6 keys that you're playing here, that feels really nice. The spacing on there actually feels pretty natural, okay? Palm keys on the left. Everything's kind of tight and sleek on the horn. These do, I don't know how well you can see this, like your D key here sticks out just a little bit further, so it kind of has that curve like your normal palm keys. But it's definitely different. But as far as where it sits on my hand, it's really close to the real thing, actually. That's surprising by looking at it. You also have these, which are sort of lifted, your high side key here. That one is actually raised a little bit more than the others, so it feels a little bit more natural. But it's set in a way that you really have to do this kind of thing to get to it. I'm used to mine being a little bit lower, but I mean, geez, they're squeezing in like, tons of buttons just on this little tiny, piece right here. Pinky keys, it's different, but I don't think it's an obstacle that one could not get over. I think, I was always very skeptical with digital saxophones, and when I first got one, it took about 15 minutes, and by that time I was used to it and playing on it. It's really not that big a deal. It is nice when the ergonomics are in place, but on a saxophone this size, they got really darn close to the spacing on a full-size instrument, which is kind of wild on such a small piece. So I think, for the size of it, it did a really nice job there. We have a switch on this side, looks like battery power or USB power. Looks to be a micro USB headphone jack. So you've got an output here, 1/8 inch, and you have a byte control here. So we're going to check that out. And then you also have like LED indicators for Bluetooth connection, and then power. Is it 3? Bluetooth on and off. Reed is screwed on there, and I play one of these, and I've used it for years and years and years and years, and I've never had a single problem with these reeds. Can't take it off and clean it, which I would highly recommend. I don't know, I haven't done that recently, but I probably should. But yeah, these reeds, I've had no issues with them. So if you're worried about just a built-in sort of reed system, mine has been great over the years. So I'm going to throw some batteries in this and plug it in, and then we're going to see what it sounds like. Okay, so we're going to jump into some sounds. Subtle feature that I also like that is also related to cables. Sorry. But it's an 1/8 inch jack, okay, for headphones or just an output, which is what you're going to hear in the feed, just so you can get a better sense of the tonal qualities of this digital saxophone. It's 1/8 inch out, but it's angled. It's not straight out, okay? Because when you pull on a cable, like if you step on the cable by accident and then it does this, that's no good. But it's already angled so that if that were to happen, it just pulls out, which is a genius little design that I love so much. Sounds on this, you actually have on the back your tone list. So it reads alto, tenor, soprano, baritone, flute, clarinet, violin, mute, trumpet, saw lead, square lead, and percussion. You know we're going to try that out. And it's just on this dial, so let's hear what alto saxophone sounds like. All right, alto saxophone. So let's try tenor saxophone. Hey, we have altissimo fingerings in here. It's funky getting used to this thing. It'll take a little time. All right, let's move on. Let's do soprano next. Okay, yeah, let's check out, we'll do the next one. Okay, so this is baritone, but I want to check out air sensitivity. I'm going to go soft to loud. It's a little too sensitive for me, and I know you can adjust this, I assume in the app now. My older one, you can do it on the saxophone. And I'm noticing on the sides here, so there's like the function button. We're going to have to figure this out. The function button, and then there's like settings. So there's breath, reverb, and fingering. And I'm not sure exactly how that works, but we're going to find out a little bit later. But volume control is nice on this, and you can tweak the resistance as needed. So let's move on. Let's do, let's maybe do, I'm going to kind of blast through the rest of these. We're going to do just a quick sample of each one so you can get the idea. So here's flute. All right, clarinet. Violin. All right, muted trumpet. Okay. Let's see, saw lead. I don't know what just happened. I think I wasn't pressing a button down all the way. That's fine now. Okay. Let's see. Square lead. Cool. All right. What you've all been waiting for. Finally, a saxophone that plays percussion. As you would with a percussion instrument, you have to use very short breaths, is what I'm now learning. Where's the kick drum? Let's see. Hey! Okay, that's never going to happen for me. So, yeah, overall, I would say, the tones, it doesn't sound like a normal saxophone. It is what it is. But for practice purposes, you have the transpose feature. And I'm kind of curious. So this is set on C. I'm going to just play an alto sound. Here's a G on alto. Okay. And then we're going to go to tenor. And I'm going to play the same fingering for G. Yeah, okay. So it does carry, like it's the same key. So if you're wanting to, transpose to B flat, you have to go back here to the knob and transpose it yourself, which isn't a big deal. Some of the more advanced versions, I guess, or the ones with more bells and whistles, they automatically transpose, and my older Roland does that too. It automatically transposes for you, but because you don't have the display system on here, I see why they would use a physical dial. I do kind of like physical dials, so for me, I don't think that's a big deal at all. So now I'm in B flat 4 tenor. Okay, update. I figured out how to use the settings, but first I'm going to go on a tangent about the button that I thought was for settings. This button right back here. So this is like a little effects, like a pitch bend type thing. So when I play it and press it, it does that sort of deal. And then bite control, that was the other thing. I don't use it on mine, and so I forgot what it does, but it actually is for vibrato. So that's a really cool feature. So you can actually, have vibrato. I find that if my embouchure is a little too tight, like I keep my corners tight and it'll press down on that, and then I actually wind up just playing out of tune. So you have to be careful about that, which is why I turn bite control off. It is a feature there if you're, practicing vibrato or want to have it on. It can be a great tool. Okay, so now settings. What you do on the tone knob is you twist this all the way over to where it says settings right there. Bam. Okay, and then with the side keys, you have 3 side keys. I feel like I'm holding this very awkwardly. You have breath, reverb, and fingering. So breath, you would press that. I don't know if you can hear that. That beep means, hey, you're in breath settings now. And oops. Then you just use your octave keys to increase. So you'll hear 5 beeps. That's the maximum. And then if you press it down, you get 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and so on. But the higher, the 5 beeps, max resistance, I just pressed that like 20 times, you get a lot more, pushback on the instrument when you do that. Oh, I'm still in settings mode, so that's why I did that. But that kind of pushback at the maximum level is perfect for me. I'm used to playing on a harder reed, so that feels a lot more accurate. But if you don't want to wear yourself out playing the saxophone. And really, it'll kind of exercise your chops a little bit too. You can turn that down to a very easy, minimal breath level. So you'll have more control with less effort. Okay, so the reverb settings, same sort of system. You can bump that up and down. And then the fingering setting, this was kind of interesting. So you can change it to, obviously your saxophone fingerings, but then you can change it to recorder fingerings. And then there were some other systems in there that I personally am never going to use. If you're getting this as a saxophone player, I don't see why you would use them either. But, if you're a recorder player, I do know some gigging recorder players. It's true. They do exist. And then, obviously, saxophone, the fingering system works just like any other saxophone. And I keep hearing that beep, so I'm going to make sure my settings are back, and then I'm going to turn this. All you do is you just turn the tone knob out of settings, and then it automatically saves your preferences. Cool. All right. So the Aerophone Go. Sweet. Let's talk a little bit about why you would want one of these things. And I guess all I can really do is give you my personal opinion on it. So I have been playing a digital saxophone along with, real saxophone, but a digital saxophone for the last probably 5 or 6 years. And I have found it to be an amazing, truly amazing, in some ways life-changing tool, because now as a father I can practice at home. I'm not driving my wife crazy by playing the same 4-bar passage 10,000 times in a row to get it right and just the way I want it. I can still do that now, but I'm doing that quietly. And just as an example, that's all you've got there with key noise. You plug some headphones in, and it has a built-in speaker as well. But if you want to be super quiet, plug some headphones in, and away you go. And in a separate room, you would never know that anybody was practicing. The key system, the more that I go through it, the better that it's feeling, and the more it's becoming natural to play on this tiny little instrument. But to me, that is the biggest, absolute number one thing, is now I can practice at home at any time of day or night. It's great. Translating the fingerings, it's such a small instrument, and translating it to a normal saxophone. I've done that with digital saxophone for, like I said, 5 or 6 years now. It's really, it's not that big of a difference. I've spent a lot of time practicing at home on one of these and then transferring straight over to my tenor sax, and it's fine. I have no problems there. It does take a little bit of adjusting, to a new digital saxophone. This feels a little funky, but it's all about muscle memory, and getting the practice time in is key. If you're brand new to saxophone, you're not going to get the sort of embouchure and tone development from a digital saxophone like this. But, if you're just trying to get into it and you want something small and lightweight, and you're just kind of, farting around the house with it, it's great for that. I mean, it really is. And you can get a lot done with, a little tiny saxophone just like this. On the road, traveling with this, I mean, this would fit in a carry-on bag or overhead or whatever. That case even is just so small. You could take it anywhere and practice anywhere, which is really, really nice. Mine is a little bit larger. The case is even larger than that, obviously. So traveling around with that is relatively easy compared to a normal saxophone. But with this, I mean, it is the roll and go for a reason. It is so you can pack it up and take it with you. So that's the big key feature here with this saxophone is its size. Lots of really cool little features here. Easy to use dials and buttons, which is great. I'm having a lot of fun playing on it, so I think I'm going to do a little bit more and send you on your way. But thank you so much to Palin Music for sending this along and letting me review the Roland Aerophone Go. Thanks, guys. Come back and see us.